Hello friends, welcome to a new watercolor tutorial. I'm Vanidas Mangathil. In this tutorial, we will be making this imaginary kind of a monument or temple scene, and we will add a couple of figures. So I will explain the entire process during the video, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and press the bell notification. Without further delay, let us go for the video. Alright, we are using a cold pressed watercolor paper, roughly A4 size, and we will be starting with the background, which is sort of a monument or a small temple. Okay, so I'm not making any proper drawing, so I'm just trying to do it from my memory or recollection or imagination, whatever you say. And I'm just starting with a big shape for the structure. And see, this is just a shape. I'm interested only in creating a shape and a background for adding a couple of figures later and to create sort of a believable scene. This is done as a practice work. This is not done for the purpose of selling, or it is not done with a commercial objective where we need to be more careful about the drawing and the composition, etc. This is an approach that you can go for practicing creating imaginary works. Okay, you may have issues. You may think that okay, some of the approach would have been better if done in certain different ways. But that is how we learn. Okay, so this much seems to be the main shape that I am interested in, and we need to surround it with some structure so that it feels sort of complete. There is a sense of completeness. So I'm thinking to add another darker shape, darker structure just to the right of it. Okay, so that there is some amount of depth. Okay. Here I'm not looking at the accuracy of the new structure. I'm primarily concerned about the overall sense of perspective, so that the new shape that we are making looks little in front of the old structure that we have initially made. Okay, and I'm sort of thinking to create few steps to reach the structure or the temple or monument. Okay, let us make some suggestion for some steps. Okay, and the suggestion is made by just making some horizontal sort of rectangular bands with some amount of paper weights left in between. That will represent some steps. Okay, that I think we can already see the steps here. So we have made the colors were chosen little thoughtfully, that the right side structure are made little darker, and the initial structure is made little warmer and lighter, so that there is a sense of light there. Okay, and I think one more steps can add a little bit more believability. See, this is a series of decisions, and it's a sequence of thinking process. We keep on developing our ideas by doing this. So we might go wrong. See, what worst can happen is that it may turn out to be not so believable. So you can discard your work at any stage and start the practice with a new piece of paper. Right, so now at this point this looks reasonably fair enough. Okay, so we need to wait for this to get dry. Okay, before we can add some figures. Right, So if you are liking these kind of video tutorials wherein we are discussing about the practice approaches and what we should be what we could do as a practice to develop our skills, please do subscribe to my channel and let me know your questions, comments, etc. Put them into the comment box below. I will surely take a look, and if you have any questions, I will surely get back to you. Okay. And if you have any suggestion to improve the quality of the tutorial videos, please do let me know. Right. Here I'm just making some horizontal dry brush works. That area where I'm doing now is reasonably dry, and with the dry brushworks I'm suggesting some details. The brush that I am using is a Chinese calligraphy brush, and that brush has it's a soft round brush and it has a good tip, so we can do larger washes as well as some precise details and lines, etc. So it's a kind of a versatile brush, but if you don't have this brush, you can use any soft round brush with a good tip. Okay, some sort of a window or some, these are not precisely something, it is just an idea of some kind of suggestion of some architectural details on that structure. Okay, I'm just thinking what to do, whether I think I'll make sort of a railing or grill there. Okay, this is not an well planned kind of details. On the fly, I'm just thinking over it. Okay, I think this is reasonably looking convincing, and we can think of adding some figures. So I have kept it for drying, and now it is fully dry. Okay, so at this point we can go for the next practice idea, which is adding figures to create more interest. See, the context that I have made is primarily for adding figures. Okay, so I think adding one more sort of a window or door or something is a good idea, because around that door I can plan a figure. So that is the idea of adding the door, because I wanted to add a figure near the entrance, near that door, because it gives a little bit more contrast and a little bit more interest. Okay, so for this practice, I assume that you already have the basic watercolor skills, and you can I don't have to explain how to make these structures, how to paint them. You already know about the basics, brushworks, etc. And here we will be discussing only about the approach, the thought process. Right? If you have any issues in getting the basic, the brush skills, then I would suggest you to go to some of the basic videos and get some improvement in getting your brushworks better, or the washes better. Practice with the washes. I would suggest to add washes. See here, I have added a figure, a very suggestive figure, and while putting this figure, I have thought about how big the figure is in relation to the door that we have made. The door will act as a measurement of how tall the figure should be. Now they make good sense. The height of the figure and the height of the door seems to be quite convincing. And near the door I am making a little colorful figure. Probably it may be a female. That is my idea. And you can see tone wise it is not very there is no much contrast. We may have to do some tweaks there to get that figure popped up. We'll try to do that later. Okay. Yeah, I think this figure is reasonably convincing. So what I'm more worried about is the relative size of the first figure that I have done and this figure, and and where they are, I mean, placed, I mean, they are probably very close to the door, so that figure is still, I mean, smaller. We may have to add little bigger figure, some more bigger figure to get the sense of depth. So let us make a slightly bigger figure, and it could be a he or she, the new figure, maybe just climbing those steps that we have made. So they will appear a little bigger. They will those figures which is nearby will appear a little bigger, and their feet is little below because of the steps. Okay, I think these figures are reasonably convincing now, and let us make another very suggestive figure there, and let's diffuse by smudging it. Okay, this smudging will help in I mean, defining something but not very clearly, right? I think we have a couple of figures at the far end, and adding one figure very close to us might be a good idea. That is what I am thinking. Where should I make another nearby figure? Maybe around the left, around this area. See, the choice of colors and the placement, etc., is something that we have to decide on the fly. Or you can, if you make a sketch earlier, you could follow what you have sketched. But if you are just believing in your gut feeling, and if you are just, I mean, are going ahead by taking the decisions on the fly, like the way I am doing it here now, you can do that. Okay, so if it works well, then you be happy. If it doesn't work well, at least you got some ideas which you can probably apply for another fresh attempt. You make another attempt, and you can fix whatever is not working. Okay, this seems to be in the right scale. So what we are worried about at this particular point is the figure overall should be convincing, and the sizes should be in relation depending upon where they are placed. The nearby figure should be, I mean, larger, and it should be just sufficiently large. Okay, it should be convincingly, the scaling should be appropriate, it should be believable. Okay, so let us make some. He is taking the support of a walking stick or something. Okay, right, I think we can give some shadows here for some additional believability. Let us make probably some shadows. Okay, so here I'm not worrying too much about the direction of light. Okay, so if you are doing it, if you are doing this as a more serious work, then probably you need to worry a little bit more about the direction of light. And if you are making shadows, all the shadows should be, the direction of shadows should be consistent. Okay, I think I am quite happy with the placement of the figure, and overall the sense, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm just tweaking on some of these colors, and I think we are in a position that we can call it as done. Okay, so, but some of these figures need little bit of a highlight, and I feel that some of those figures can face us. Now I feel that all the figures are turning the other side, so let this figure turn to us. Probably he or she is coming back from the temple or the structure, and some of the people are going towards the door, and some of them are coming back after paying the visit. Yeah, I think this gives some amount of story, and I'm not very sure if I should make him facing this side or that side. I think, yeah, I think he's doing well, so I shouldn't touch it more. Okay, so let us make a flag there. If that is a temple, you might find some flags on top. And what else? See, if you're following along, I would suggest that you follow, I mean, you can tweak the idea and you can make your own changes, okay? You don't have to necessarily follow the same thing. You take the ideas from this and make your own versions of it, okay? Now I'm making some white touches. These are white watercolors and picked up directly from the tube without diluting, and the paper is very dry now, so that those minor small white touches will create some kind of a contrast, and the figures are now more visible. It is grabbing some attention now, and it is getting little bit popped up now, and I think we don't have much thing to do. In fact, it can be treated as done, right? So I'm just wondering, I mean, looking here and there and seeing if I can add some additional touches. I would suggest you avoid this, okay? So if you think it is reasonably done well and things are reading pretty convincing, I would tell that you stop, okay? If you keep on modifying it, you will end up spoiling the works. So I would suggest whenever you think you are done, you stop it. It may be a little difficult to resist the urge of making another brush touch, but you try to avoid that, okay? So I hope you have learned something from this approach, and you can use this approach for practicing and improving your watercoloring skills to the next level. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions, please do let me know in the comment box below. I will surely try to get back and give response for your questions, okay? So thank you very much for watching this, and finally, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and press that bell notification again. So thank you so much once again, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.